El Chacham, God of wisdom. When pleasure fades and accomplishments collapse, you remain. You weigh every desire and reveal what truly satisfies. Lead me through illusion into the joy that endures. Yehovah Elohi El Chacham, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me, and cover me and stir me, and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself. And you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. I said to myself, come now, I will test myself with pleasure and enjoying good things. But that too was pointless. Of laughter I said, this is stupid. And of pleasure, what's the use of it? I searched my mind for how to gratify Aleph Tav, my body, with wine, and my mind with guiding me with wisdom. How to pursue foolishness. My objective was to find out what was the best thing for people to do during the short time they have under heaven to live. I worked on a grand scale. I built myself palaces, planted myself vineyards, and made myself gardens and parks. In them I planted all kinds of fruit trees. I made myself pools from which to water the trees springing up in the forest. I bought male and female slaves, and I had my homeborn slaves as well. I also had growing herds of cattle and flocks of sheep, more than anyone before me in Jerusalem. I amassed silver and gold, the wealth of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers, things that provide sensual delight, and a good many concubines. So I grew great, surpassing all who preceded me in Jerusalem. My wisdom, too, stayed with me. I denied my eyes nothing they wanted, and withheld Aleph Tav no pleasure from myself. For Aleph Tav I took pleasure in all my work, and this was my reward for all my work. Then I looked at all that my hand had accomplished, and all that had toiled at, and I saw that it was meaningless in feeding on the wind, and that there was nothing to be gained under the sun. So I decided to look more carefully at wisdom, stupidity, and foolishness. For what can the man who succeeds the king Aleph Tav do, except what has already been done? I saw that wisdom is more useful than foolishness, just as light is more useful than darkness. The wise man has eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet the same fate awaits Aleph Tav them all. So I said to myself, if the same thing happens to the fool as to me, then what did I gain for being wise? I thought to myself, this too is pointless. For the wise man, like the fool, will not be long remembered, inasmuch as in the times to come everything will long ago have been forgotten. The wise man, no less than the fool, must die. So I came to hate Aleph Tav, life, because the activities done under the sun were loathsome. They were loathsome to me, since everything is meaningless and feeding on wind. I hated Aleph Tav, all the things for which I had worked under the sun, because I saw that I would have to leave them to a man who will come after me. Who knows whether he will be a wise man or a fool, yet he will have control over all the things I worked for, and which demonstrated how wise I am under the sun. This too is pointless. Thus I came to despair Aleph Tav over all the things I had worked for under the sun. Here is a man whose work is done with wisdom, knowledge, and skill. Yet he has to leave it for someone who has put no work into it. This is not only pointless, but a great evil. For what does a person get from all his efforts and ambitions permitting the work he has done under the sun? His whole life is one of pain. His work is full of stress. Even at night, his mind gets no rest. This too is pointless. So there's nothing better for a man to do than eat, drink, and let himself enjoy Aleph Tav, the good that results from his work. I also realize that this is from God's hand. For who will eat and who will enjoy except me? For to the man who is good from God's viewpoint, he gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner, he gives the task of collecting and accumulating things to leave to him who is good from God's viewpoint. This too is pointless and feeding on wind. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this fascinating second chapter of Ecclesiastes? We can love Yehovah by not letting pleasure become our purpose. Love Yehovah by seeking His wisdom above personal achievement. Love Yehovah by testing everything in light of eternity. How can we love our neighbors as Yeshua loves us? By leading them away from self-indulgence towards eternal joy. How can we bear one another's burdens? By sitting with those who feel burned out from striving and offer the rest of Yehovah. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Discernment, linked to wisdom. The writer tests what many assume is fulfilling. 2. Humility. He admits that even his accomplishments fell short. 3. Sobriety, linked to self-control. Kohelet doesn't numb himself, he confronts the emptiness head-on. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Ta'anug, pleasure, delight, enjoyment. Reference, verse 1, anchor sentence. Ta'anug reflects humanity's hunger for joy, but becomes deception when divorced from eternal wisdom. At Sefer Insight, Tana'ug, amplified meaning, pleasure outside the covenant blinds the eyes and withers life, but true delight lifts the soul when bound to Yehovah's presence. How can we find Yeshua in the scriptures? He warned that gaining the world means nothing if the soul is lost. He delighted in doing the Father's will, not in worldly success. The joy set before him carried him through the cross. That is eternal ta'anug. Mitzvah response, Torah-based, mitzvah. Deuteronomy 8 verse 10. When you have eaten and are satisfied, bless Yehovah. A response might look like this: I will receive pleasure with thanksgiving, not as identity. I will bless Yehovah in all things, full or empty. Hebrew declaration: Simkat Yehovah, He Chelechi V'cho Ta'anug, Beli Chochma, Havel Hu. The joy of Yehovah is my portion. Every pleasure without wisdom is vapor. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward your, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.